I rage quit my job after having worked there for only a month.
I'm done. I'm going to fuck off. Fuck this. I'm done.
Are companies unwilling to hire women? Ooh, great question. I'm at the age of getting engaged, and I've heard people say, like, don't show your ring on calls. God forbid you're pregnant or trying to get pregnant.
I'm telling you, this is going to be on the exam. That's going to be on the exam. Everyone get the fuck out. Class is over. I can't do this. I'll quit.
You're quitting?
Yeah.
Why are you quitting? You don't want to serve the people of Dalton?
So I've never made a TikTok, although I'm an avid TikTok scroller, but I quit my job this week, 2 days ago. I rage quit pretty much from a restaurant job.
Lessons I learned and things I wish I knew when I rage quit my job one time. It was once, okay? Now, I rage quit and I was literally on my period, so you best believe it was rage.
I just got fired. I haven't gotten fired since I was a teenager. And it was because of me calling out of work.
The way that I see the job market going, they're totally wiping out women in jobs. They are not hiring women. Women are the ones that are struggling the absolute most to find jobs right now. Which makes me think this is some setup for the fucking Handmaid's Tale. And sure, we may not go that far, but we might get close. Getting even close, taking a fucking pinch from the Handmaid's Tale is not good.
Just tackled her. I just tackled. Fuck this game. I'm done, chat. I'm done. Yeah. Brilliant! Let's dive! Let's guess the right way for every penalty, but let's not save a single one! Oh yeah, I've tackled her, but you know what? Let her have another go. And another go! And another fucking go! Why not? Woohoo! Let's keep letting her shoot! Fuck this game! Ha ha ha! And he skied, he shot it to another fucking postcode! That's what you do on your last attempt! Oh my god, the controller isn't working! Fuck off! Bullshit!
Men benefit more
health-wise.
Yeah.
Are you going by that?
Women? No, that is a fact.
No, it isn't.
Yes, it is.
I've already debunked that. You can get your phone, but if you really look at it, if you really dig into it,
podcasts unless they have them
I'm telling you,
right here.
I've already checked this fact. I've done it live on podcasts where I brought.
No, not from podcasts. No, I'm talking about. I go to school. I do periodic reviews. I look at scholarly journals. I don't just look at other podcasts to see what other people are talking about. Women don't benefit in marriages. Men benefit more. They live longer. Men live longer in relationships.
Who benefits from divorce?
Women die faster when they're with men.
It's mutually that's not a fact. That's a lie. That's a fake.
1 second, because
I'm telling you. Go ahead.
That's why I don't like to go on a podcast that don't have fact checkers here, because that's what niggas do. They talk to each other and they don't listen to other people.
I heard them.
So
you already debunked. So who told you there was a fake study?
It's not a fake study.
I've already looked into it.
There's propaganda studies.
It's not propaganda. That's what you say to save your ego.
We gotta understand that there is science. There may have been a study after that, but that wasn't a fake study.
So what? My thing is this: what is it with women who always want to be right? Why is it? A lot of women speak from a place of hurt or something. Why is it that women, every time you have a conversation with them, it's I know I come from this and I go to school and I make this amount of money and this and that. So that makes me I know it all. Where's your, proof of what you're saying? We're just supposed to believe your word. Oh, cause you did studies with this. Where did you do the studies at? Who did you do them with? Where's your proof? Why is it that when men say something, they always have to prove it? But when you say something, there don't have to be any proof. There's no burden of proof on a woman's, perspective. And the other women just eat that up, just jump in it and think, oh yeah, because she knows what she's talking about. No, and a lot of times they don't know what they're talking about. But they don't have to prove it. But a man, oh, these ninjas, they gotta always have all the proof because you can't believe a word that they say because they, they're not educated, so they don't know what they're talking about. But you have all the education and you still don't know what you're talking about.
Most highly intelligent and self-aware women that have gone through their entire lives using their intelligence as their main way to source safety have an incredible amount of built-up rage and resentment. And let's break this down from a nervous system perspective. When you have learned to use your intelligence to source safety, you are essentially engaging in this usefulness wound. So as long as you can be useful by using your intelligence to be competent in a leadership role and have people rely on you, you feel safe. And this was reinforced throughout your entire life. When you do not have the consistent opportunity to literally be useless and still be in relationship with other people and still feel and experience love and validation and being nurtured and nourished by other people, you will start to build up initially anger, and this will eventually turn into resentment when you do not have an outlet for your anger. And because women are so deeply conditioned to not be angry women, this is a common pattern that I see. This depletes you on a physiological and soul level. And with love, this is what makes you a bitter woman.
I'm done. I'm going to fuck off. Fuck this. I'm done.
I'm gonna be really honest. I've noticed a lot of women, not all, but a lot of you guys have this mindset of like, if a man can do it, I can do it. And I don't understand why y'all want to be men so bad. I get there's some women who just like to work in hard labor jobs because it makes more. I'm one of those women. I totally understand. And I would much rather be away from people and do stuff like this. But it's not for the weak. Working with grown men, you're gonna have to pick up the slack and carry your own dead weight. And a lot of the times women will realize that when they work in hard labor jobs, when you're loading trailers and stuff like that, you're on your own. I always tell women this, a lot of the times you might underestimate how strong a man is, how much pain a man can endure during working. Yeah, we're not the same. We're not equal.
I've been filled with so much fucking rage lately. I don't even know what. I mean, so many things. So many things I've been filled with rage. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I got into my car just now and smacked my knee on the dashboard. I don't even know why my knee was up that high. What am I, taking a... Let me get into my car, take a running start like an idiot. Everything lately, you know what life is for me lately? Is I'm already overstimulated and then my bag handle catches the doorknob. That's my life in a nutshell lately. So
I'm a woman who supports women, right? Like I want women to do well. I want them to climb the corporate ladder if that's what they want to do. I want them to stay home if that's what they want to do. But it's hard as a company to hire women who want to have children because like it really just throws everything off. And I know that you're not supposed to say that, and companies are certainly not allowed to say that. Like, it's tough. They hire someone, let's say they work for a year or two, you spend money and time training them, they're great at their job, then they get pregnant, and then in Canada they take a year off, maybe a year and a half. During that time, you have to replace them and spend time and money to train somebody else, and that person is only going to be there for a temporary time because your job has to be there when you get back. So then you get back and that person now doesn't have a job. And many times women want more than one child, so then that cycle is repeated. I work for myself now, but since putting my kid in daycare, the amount of days I would have had to take off work is insane. There's no amount of personal and sick days that they could give me that would have covered that. But obviously this is not a reason to not hire women. It's just like, let's just state the facts. Like it's hard, but what's the solution to this, right? It's also hard to grow your career when it's like stop, start, stop, start. Like even right now, I'm pregnant with my second and I've had to already say no to a few work opportunities because I'm pregnant. And obviously that's a choice I'm making. I decided to get pregnant. I'm so happy, I'm so grateful. But this is obviously not new information that it's hard being a woman, but it's also hard on companies that hire women. Also, we're so amazing and smart and funny and savvy that we make it worth it for them, so.
This question again, can we just settle it once and for all? It's not like employers go to the employee supermarket and they're like, whoa, this is 30% off. And then they go stock up on all of the women. If that was the case, women would not be a minority. They probably did that back in 1950s, but at this point, that's illegal. When they do want cheaper labor force, they go for younger, less skilled, less experienced employees. But that's beyond the point. The reason why we're seeing this number is because of biases, subconscious or conscious. A lot of the times, this is not done on purpose. It's the gender biases, which create a contrast in perception of an employee's value. And typically, these biases benefit men, exhibit A. It's the subtle things. It's the subtle sexism that women are also guilty of. That difference in perception manifests itself in other things, like promotions as well, which also, of course, contributes to the gender pay gap. This study has found that men tend to be promoted for their potential and women for their current performance. And somebody has just mentioned a study to me where that was also the case with hiring, which would explain this number. It's the biases. It's the subtle things. It's not an employee supermarket where the company can choose.
How can people like this commenter think that a single question can debunk decades worth of research on a singular topic? Especially when the question that is being proposed here answers itself. If the gender pay gap truly exists, then why don't employers hire more women? If women make less on a salaried and hourly basis, which they do, regardless of how much time off they take, which is true, regardless of work experience, regardless of the fact that they're more productive than men, which is also true, regardless of the fact that when women take off work to have a child, they end up getting paid less, and when men take off work to have a child, they end up getting paid more when they come back. If all of this is true, why don't businesses hire more women? Because if all of this is true, women are less eager to get those jobs that don't pay them as well. The question answers itself. So if the pay gap exists, why don't employers just hire more women? The question answers itself. Also, and most importantly, women only make up 51% of the population. Let's say you're an employer and you want to pay people less, so you decide to hire more women. You can't just order more women like you order tools from Ace Hardware. Even if you want more of them, they're only 51% of the population. You can't just get a mail order subscription of women. There are only so many who are willing to take that job because of that low pay. You can't just manufacture more women like you can Ford F-150s. There are only so many women in the United States, and if you don't pay them as much as you do men, they are less likely to want to work for you, and that is their right to accept or deny that job opportunity. So again, why don't employers hire more women? The question answers itself. Keep in mind, none of that even answers the root problem, which is the sexism behind the belief that women don't deserve to make as much as men. Women aren't objects. They are not tools. They are not something that you own as an employer. Women are human beings. And this attitude that women somehow don't deserve equal pay, even though we have decades of research showing that it's unfair. This attitude that a disproportionate amount of people in the United States have is what is responsible for the continuing problem of the wage gap. This attitude is what's stopping them from getting equal pay, because the problem is just being ignored, even though it's very clear and evident that it exists. And again, even if a single question was somehow able to debunk this entire decade's worth of research that we have on this topic, the question still answers itself. And the answer to this question still validates the research.
Well, it doesn't really answer the question because, let's say, for instance, the argument has always been for immigrants coming into the country. Americans want to get paid a certain wage, but companies don't want to pay that wage. So what they go do is get an immigrant to work it because they know they'll accept a lower wage or a lesser wage than that, right? So you do have that argument, and there's a lot of people that feel like, well, yeah, they just go and get cheaper labor, right? And a lot of people do this. I just need so many people to do X, Y, and Z. As a matter of fact, that's why you have companies, whether it's right or wrong, go to different places in the world and give these jobs so they can get there. And you've heard it on Shark Tank. We got to get it over to China or this place so it can be mass produced, but at a cheaper cost. And that's why men continue to say, if they're so cheap, if the labor is so cheap, why don't we just hire? Like, it's not even trying to be facetious. This is the cheaper option. If we want to get work done from good people, why don't we just do that? That seems to make the most sense. Number one. Number two, that study that you cited when you were talking about women get women are more productive than men, according to new research. I think, from the research that I was looking at, it says they're given 10% more to do. And they complete. So first of all, they said men and women complete 66% of their work is what they said. But women are given more to do. So I'm given more to do, and I'm still completing 66% of that. So the completion rate stays the same, but I have more work than you to do. So why is it that there's a pay gap? And when you look down into the numbers a little bit more, you actually see what he conveniently left out, that women spend more time on non-promotable tasks, or tasks that don't necessarily advance your career. Basically busy work. So it would make sense that you would be, it's busy work. Like, say for instance, if you told somebody to go outside and fill up the pool, while you told another person, fill up the pool, cut the grass, and, move the trampoline 5 feet. I'm doing more work than you technically, but then you also tell the other person, hey, I need you to go around and dig a 30-foot hole. Who you think is going to be done first? That trampoline you can knock out in 5 minutes. Filling the depending on what it is, filling the pool up. I mean, you can put a water hose in the pool, make sure it stays, and walk off. So really the only task that's going to take a lot of time is mowing the lawn. And while, that task is going on, you go in there and then mow that lawn. So you're probably going to be done at it's going to be the same type of completion rate, but you're probably going to be doing more, but you're able to do more because those jobs aren't as difficult. So, I mean, we can sit up here and talk about women are more efficient and all that other nonsense. But the fact of the matter is, once again, men are, and now, let me say this. A lot of men do the work that a lot of modern women don't want to do. We still have to look at that. Who are you going to hire to change your brakes? Probably going to be a man. To build your house? Probably going to be a man. To fix your pipes? Probably going to be a man. A lot of this hard work that you're seeing is probably going to be a man that's going to fix it. You don't want to do the dirty work. What do you expect?
Are companies unwilling to hire women? Ooh, great question. I'm at the age of getting engaged, and I've heard people say, don't show your ring on calls. God forbid you're pregnant or trying to get pregnant. I hate the answer I'm going to give you because it's so sad. Go for it. Yes. Talking about getting engaged. Congrats. Thanks. It'll be like, oh, but she's going to go on a honeymoon, and then she's going to get married, and then she's probably going to have babies and then not be here. There is a sad reality where we're still dealing with this, where it's almost like, well, maybe take your engagement ring off before you go to an interview. I hate that those words are even coming out of my mouth. With my second pregnancy, I didn't want anyone to know. I was like, they're going to think I'm not committed. There's like this very frustrating stigma that I'm not going to be connected or committed or great at my job. And this time around, like this current pregnancy, I've like trying to show, hey, you're capable of doing more than one thing at a time. And I am trying to be proud of it and show it. And I found that like being authentic and vulnerable has actually opened up a broader, better client pool for me. And the people who don't like it are probably not the people I want to be working with anyway.
I'm telling you, this is going to be on the exam. That's going to be on the exam. Everyone get the fuck out. Class is over. I can't do this.
We have to get a perfect score on this last exam to be barely passing, and you think a Quizlet is going to be what's going to do it?
I'm giving you this to help. I'm giving you this as a guide.
Well, I'm not using that, and let me help everyone else out. I'm using I Hate Reading. I upload her entire textbook, all of our lecture slides, and it'll make me the flashcards, but what's different than her Quizlet and my I Hate Reading, this will give you actual definitions, and it'll explain anything you're confused about, whereas that Quizlet, it's just going in one ear out the other. I don't know what that is.
I honestly don't care what you guys used to study. This, I'm telling you exactly what's going to be on the exam. If you want to take this and pair it with your I Hate Reading, I don't give a fuck. Do it. Get 100 on the exam. I would love for that to be the case. Okay, but if I'm going to spend time on a Quizlet, you better use it.
What's your name, ma'am? It's not very professional of you.
Hey, I quit, y'all. Yeah. I quit my job right now. You quit, okay. Yeah, I quit my job right now. I quit.
You're quitting?
Yeah.
Why are you quitting? You don't want to serve the people of Dalton? She's going to show us why she quit. She quit her job right now. Are you really quitting, man, for a camera?
Yeah, I'm quitting for a camera because I'm gonna lose my job in here. So I might as well quit.
Hey, how are you, sir?
I'm Officer Harper.
Officer Harper, don't.
And you know, we like to say that the gender pay gap exists because of biases and all that other stuff. But do we ever really look at this reason, women just getting up and walking out, right? When you do the research on it, you'll see that men and women on a regular level, regular jobs, they tend to quit at pretty much the same rate. But when you go higher up in the company, like leadership and stuff like that, then that's where the disparity happens. Like say, for instance, I think the figures were somewhere around when you get to like a senior level or C-suite, women tend to quit at 3 times the rate as men. 3 times the rate. Do you think that this might have something to do with women not getting hired as much for a role, or them not being offered as much pay because you think they're going to leave? If you look at running backs in the NFL, or people in the NFL in general, in the NBA, they're making more money than people in the NFL. In the NFL, some would say it's harder work. At least it's more, it's harder on your body, basically. And then they say, you know, well, I'm not going to pay the receiver, or I'm not going to pay the running back, or I'm not going to pay the quarterback. Why is that? Sometimes it's because they're being stingy, but sometimes it's like, well, this person is coming off of an Achilles injury. I don't know if I can count on their durability. While a lot of times, and this is just the way that men make decisions. While a lot of times women want to sing Kumbaya, you know, it's going to be, let me say this. There's pros and cons to both strategies, right? A woman might hire somebody that's less qualified or has more problems, but they have to eat all of those problems, right? This is a good worker, but I have to deal with them not coming in. This is a good worker, but I have to deal with them coming in late, or them having an attitude, right? When I can get them on, and they have more stress, and they take on more stress, and they complain about that stress, right? But a man will likely look at a candidate and say, no, if you can't be dependable, then I'm not going to hire you. And really, honestly and truly, like I said, they do this for men or women. Like the example that I just gave you about the NFL, if you're not available, then you can't play. And if you ain't playing, I'm not going to pay you. Like a lot of people say, or the saying goes, the best ability is availability. You might be the best shooter in the world, but if you ain't available, then why would we continue to pay you and you're not going to be available to play?
I just got fired. I haven't gotten fired since I was a teenager. And it was because of me calling out of work and being late. And I loved that job. I loved that job. And I just said to my manager, I said, why couldn't you have emailed me and told me I was coming close to this? I'm like, you know that this is a shock.
What? What? Bro, we are so coddled here in the United States of America. Of all the things that you can be let go for, when there are people that are getting laid off involuntarily based off of the fact that it's a right to work, most of these states are right to work. or that they can let you go for any reason, especially if you're not in a union, and you can still be let go or laid off with no warning at all. And you got people that are saying that it's more difficult than ever to find a job. You got people that are complaining about the jobs that they have. It's a lot of people that don't have the skill set for the available jobs that are out there. And it's ultra competitive in the middle and at the bottom. And you had a job that you liked. And the reason that you don't have that job anymore, no, you had a job that you loved. That's what she said. She said she had a job that she loved. And the reason that she doesn't have a job that she loved anymore is because she was late too much and calling off. So something that you actually had within your power and control that had nothing to do with your actual performance and doing the job itself, and the thing that you come here and say is not, hey, man, I messed up. This is a learning lesson. I need to change who I am. You know what? I shouldn't have been late. And now I got to pay the ultimate price and take an ownership and responsibility for it. But you blame your supervisor for not babysitting you and letting you know that you got too close to however many times you were allowed to be late. The fact that you even got close to being late and then ultimately getting fired, and you can't even say that it was something else that was out of you crazy. These people are out of their rabid minds, bro. Man, let me tell you something, bro. Since before 2008, anything that you getting fired for, fighting on the job, being late, mouthing off with the...
And this is also another thing. Women, when you look at the statistics, somebody in the comments out said those eyebrows are a fireable offense. When you look at the statistics on it, women are more likely to call out than men. I think it's darn near double the rate. So that could also be another reason. Not saying that you guys don't deserve to get paid or you're not good at your job, but if you're calling out for whatever reason, once again, the best ability is availability. And if you're not there, then they're going to have to get somebody else to do the job. Basic thinking about it, that means they're not going to pay two people. They're going to remove you from the position and hire the person who can be there. Maybe a remote job might work.
Piss some people off. We said I left my work from home job where I was making $250,000. I understand that can totally ruffle some feathers. Yes, I recognize I have a privilege. I also worked my ass off for it. A part of me wonders if the conversation would be the same if it were a man. Instead of seeing comments like, yeah, you have a husband who makes a lot of money. You can stay home with your kid. No, we arranged our life where my husband was a stay-at-home parent because my job was so demanding. So no, I don't come from money. I don't have a husband who's making a boatload of money. We're figuring all this shit out as we go. And if you want to know more about how I was able to do that financially, let me know and I can make another video on that.
Somebody in the comments said, what happened? I'm sure you made the right choice for you, but I do wonder, as do most women in these comments, they wonder why you would leave a $250,000 job. I don't think there's a lot of men that would. I honestly don't think there's a lot of people that would leave a job like this unless they just rolling in money, unless they're just rolling in dough, right? I see this, it says ex-corporate leader. I think she was saying she was an HR leader or something like that. That's interesting. That's interesting. But once again, it's kind of why these companies, she's on Business Insider. Okay, interesting. She's got a story on Business Insider and da-da-da-da. Okay, interesting. So I'm reading this article. Apparently it was by Business Insider. Let me let you see this TikTok. So she's showing, hey, that's me on Business Insider, right? He's just like, hey, I'm popular. 4-minute read. Okay. Smiling and carrying on. So proud. You see on LinkedIn. You see on LinkedIn. It's like, what the heck is this? Why would you do that? Comments, you can't fix stupid. Dr. Michael N. Brett. Somebody else said, she of all people should know the odds. Think of putting a job out there and how many hundreds of thousands is really what you mean. Hundreds of people. He said hundreds of people. It's really hundreds of thousands, or I would say thousands of people respond to that job. God says, and I want you to see this. I want you to see this, because I just finished saying, I don't know if a man would do that. These are all men. Never quit before having a legal binding contract signed by both parties in your hand. I can see why I would say that. Okay. And this is a guy. So the first one is raising capital with strong recognizable branding is probably what it is. Supply chain ops and strategy consultant. So he's making a little money there. You got a something evangelist, CTO, tech speaker, and author. Another guy says leading modern data solutions for AI. Okay. Never leave a job unless you got one lined up. That's what they tell men. Another guy says it happens. Management consulting. Right. So, I mean, these are guys that high level guys. I'm not going to quit my job unless I have something lined up. I have other people relying on me. Very few times. I would never.
Okay, I am really on a roll talking about these hiring managers who are partly to blame for why everyone is experiencing a labor shortage. And I think I want to add a little nuance to this now. I want to talk about women hiring managers who don't hire other women. We all know that systemically, women were oppressed and largely rejected or barred from participating in the workforce. Generally, we know that, right? However, we also know today that most of the women in companies, or excuse me, most of the people in companies who have the power to make hiring and firing decisions, nowadays, those are women. And I can tell you from the experience of being a woman, those women do not like hiring other women into their organizations. And they specifically do not like hiring younger women into their organizations. And they do not like hiring younger educated women into their organizations. Ask anyone who is under the age of 35, under the age of 40 even, what they've gone through, especially ask any woman under those ages, what they've gone through in interviews, being interviewed by other women. Disappointing, sad, heartbreaking, tragic. As a sociologist in training with my sociology degree, I've always held the belief that it's other women who are the missing puzzle pieces to misogyny. It's other women who have political power, who have economic, financial power, who have hiring and firing power within organizations, who are still propping up misogyny and the patriarchy. Because it's those women who either don't hire younger, educated women into their organizations, or when they do hire those younger, educated women into their organizations, they do everything in their power to drive them out, from being condescending, from being mean, from being nasty, from refusing to train them properly, from overburdening them with more work than the role or the job requires. It's insane. And before you run into my comments with your musty, dusty, not all women, or how can you claim to be for women's empowerment when you're saying these kinds of things, saying these kinds of things is women's empowerment, because part of empowerment is holding oneself accountable for one's actions. And we need to hold these women hiring managers accountable for their actions. We need to hold them accountable for being mean and nasty to younger women entering the workforce full time. We need to hold them accountable for the way they drive out talent out of the workforce. We need to hold them accountable for the way they drive out other women from industries and from entire entities and cause brain drain. We need to hold one another accountable for that, because it's very real and it happens. And you can ask any woman of really any age, and they'll tell you they've experienced some kind of nastiness from another woman, most likely in their organization. And that's so sad, and it needs to stop.
Okay, y'all, I just came out of the supermarket or grocery store, whatever you guys call it. At the end of the day, I don't think I'll be able to afford groceries. I know it sounds crazy, but it is that expensive. I've been out of work, unemployed since February, and frankly, I'm over it. There are 335,000, and that number might be even bigger now, of African American women who are out of work, me included in that number. I don't know what else to do. I have been savvy with saving, robbing Peter to pay Paul, but you know what? everybody is depleted and I am deflated. And so help me out. Why are these companies not hiring? It's ridiculous. Somebody, my call to action, somebody give me a direction on where to look for a job. Who's hiring?
Did you know that 85% of women leaders said that they will not hire a woman if she knows that they have small children? 85% of women leaders said they will not hire a woman if they know that they have small children. Didn't that leader had small children at some point too? Maybe, maybe not. But 85%? Come on, girls. Let's help each other out. Jeez.
Guy here in the comments says, never in my career have I seen a mom with young children not get terminated for attendance, and that's after multiple chances and performance improvement plans were given, and FMLA and PTO were all exhausted. Right? She comes back and says, that's interesting. I have 2 kids and I'm an executive leader. I wonder what's the difference in the support system. I do know some parents overuse the kids card. Right. When you say some parents, you mean the women. Well, I got to do this for my kid. I got to go here. I got to go there. Instead of figuring it out and making arrangements, I've heard of a lot of women that do that. They make arrangements, but some women, they overplay this card. And once again, because you're not there, the company has no choice but to replace you and find somebody else.
I have worked in a male-dominated industry my entire life, and I get promoted over these dudes all the time. And I'm going to tell you the one thing that I do that other women don't, that keeps them stuck in their jobs and prevents them from getting promoted. Hi, I'm Patty Asai. I expose the lies that keep women enslaved and broke and give you the knowledge and tools to finally break free. The one thing that I do that is so simple it's going to blow your mind, I just apply for the job. Yes, I literally applied for the job, and let me explain. Hewlett-Packard did a study because they wanted to know why women were not applying for upper-level jobs. And when the results came back, it showed that in order for a woman to apply for an upper-level job, she felt like she had to meet 100% of the requirements. Men, on the other hand, 60% of the requirements. That is practically an F if you missed that part, okay? So the men are like, I know I have a big fat F in the requirements, but who cares? I'm going to apply anyway. I deserve the job, versus the women do not. And what happens is that 60% guy gets the job versus the woman who meets 80% of the requirements is stuck in her dead-end job calling that dude boss. And the reason that we do this is because we have been brainwashed to believe that we are not meant to be leaders, that unless we meet 100% of the requirements, we are going to screw up in the job. And nothing is further from the truth. I literally have never been qualified for any job I've ever applied for, ever. I just apply for the job, I pretend I deserve the job, and I get the job, and I kill it, just like the men do. So ladies, do not be intimidated if you don't meet 100% of the requirements. That is okay. Just have confidence within yourself to understand that you will figure it out and you're going to kill it in the job. And I promise you, you will, because that is how men are getting promoted. And that's exactly how I'm getting promoted. Follow me for real truths to help you level up in your life.
Well, it could be high risk, high reward. Men are taught like, hey, you just got to go out there and make it happen, right? So you kind of take that attitude into everything. Then, you know, I got to make it happen. I need something. I got to do something, right? I have a family. I don't know how to take care of a family. I don't know how to raise a kid. But when the kid gets here, I'm going to make it happen. I don't know how to do this job. I have this, and this. For the rest of the, 20%? The other 20%, I don't need 100 for the, really honestly and truly, for the other 15%. I'll take 75%, 78%. I'll figure it out. You know, I'll work overtime. Men are committed to doing whatever they need to do. That little engine in the back of their mind where it says, okay, I'm giving this much, but if I need to, I'll kick it into overdrive. I'll stay all night. I'll sleep under my desk. You have men that are doing that, right? You have men that do that even still today. They be sleeping in their car. Man, you got an apartment. You got to go home. Oh man, I got to be up here. I got to make this happen. I got to make sure the report is here. This, and this. Is it unhealthy? Probably so. But men are doing that stuff. And you're probably not going to have a woman doing that by and large.
What is stopping a woman today from being a plumber and electrician?
As I said, discrimination.
Now I just don't want to do it. But all companies are required to file these EEO2 reports that let the government know how many men and women they're hiring. And for these companies that do electricians and plumbing, they're actually desperate for women. So I understand women might not want to do it. Those professions, they pay a lot. If you're the kind of girl that doesn't mind getting a little grimy, the trades have made a comeback. They're paying out more than the college degree white collar companies. They're AI proof apparently. So I don't know, maybe look at the trades. The companies are happy to have you. They want to report to the government. Like, look, we're not sexist. Like, we hire these people. We only got one applicant. We hired her. So I don't know, maybe look into it.
Since corporate America has decided it won't hire me, I'm starting a business. Straight like that. Like, I'm finna start a business. And honestly, I've reached this point genuinely out of spite. Like, I have to blow up now out of spite because they're playing with me. I'm way too talented. I'm way too fucking credentialed. I'm way too overqualified to keep begging people to, like, steal from me, basically. Like, it's actually starting to really piss me off. So I'm finna start a business. I'm finna work for myself because, honestly, none of you people deserve me. Like, none of you deserve me, and none of you will hire me, so it's like, fuck y'all. Yeah, it's fuck y'all. Not y'all. I mean, you know, these other people. But, like, I'm starting a business. Point blank period. If you a black girl and they won't hire you either because that's what they're doing right now, start your business. Yeah, start your fucking business because fuck this shit. If you want to help me reach this goal of living through just working for myself, you can drop your email in the comments or you can hit the link in my bio. Thank you.
That's another reason why I think so many black women have lost their jobs is because black women, to be likable means to be a people pleaser, and it means to serve other people's emotions and feelings over your own in a way. And especially in a corporate world or in a job setting, being likable means that, you know, you're willing to kiss ass pretty much. Now, if you're likable based off of who you actually are, that's the best type of likability. Like, I want to be liked for being me, right? I don't want to be liked because I'm people pleasing or I'm doing what people want me to do or I'm performing, right? And I think the reason why a lot of black women lose their jobs, not because they're not good at their jobs, they're actually the best, but they refuse to perform to be liked. And because they refuse to perform to be liked, that makes higher ups, that makes other people in the company feel uncomfortable. And so even though this woman is doing her job very well and she's meeting the quotas, she's not performing to be liked by me. So therefore she has to go. It has nothing to do with the qualifications.
We are kind of performing. Like, they hire you to do a certain thing. Unfortunately, they didn't necessarily hire you because you're a great magician. They hired you because you're an Excel whiz. Like, you know how to do spreadsheets. So, I mean, they don't really, I mean, I know they talk a lot about cultural fit and stuff like that, but they talk about cultural fit now because they want you to get along. They don't want you arguing and screaming and hollering. They want the company to mesh together. And when you mesh together, productivity goes up. That's why they want that, right? But you are being hired to perform and to mesh into the culture. You are expected to mesh into the culture. I know you want to be, an outside the box thinker, but if they hire you to be an outside the box thinker, you better be bringing in outside the box results, or else it's not going to be worth it, right? You're not bringing in enough money for me to sit up here and deal with you.
I've been applying to jobs and whatnot, but today I just got really sad because it's been since May that I got laid off and I still can't find a job, and I just kind of sat there and just stared at my computer and I was just like, what am I kind of doing with my life right now? It's been since May and I can't find a basic job, and I got really sad because you know, my savings can only go so much. Rent is so expensive in the Bay Area, and, you know, like, I just have, like, a little panic attack in a way, because I don't know what to do. It's really hard for me to find a job right now. I don't know why nowhere's hiring, but yeah.
I just want to vent to y'all real quick, because I understand completely that the job market is fucked right now. Like, it's bad. Nobody can find a good job, and I get that. But with the service industry, that's never been really an issue. You've always kind of been able to, like, quit one job one day and then get another job the next day or within the same week, and, you know, you'll be fine. But I have quit a couple of jobs this year just because the environment just doesn't work for me, and it's become more difficult and more difficult to find another job. I don't know if this is just like an Atlanta thing, because the nightlife or the restaurant industry in Atlanta is so small and condensed that there's only but so many places you can work, and the good places, nobody ever leaves. Like, they are never hiring, and even though new places are opening up every day, somehow they have a full staff that they're not looking to extend after like a week or so. And it's crazy to me, because the service industry is supposed to be one of those industries where you don't have problems finding jobs. But even places where I feel as though I'm kind of lowering my standards to work here, it's like, damn, like, y'all not hiring nobody? I don't need no type of help. So it's like, now I have to, of course, you know, lower my cost of living, and I'm selling my car and getting rid of things that I can no longer afford, because I was already working in an up and down industry with the service industry. But now it's like I can't even find a job, really. Like, I can't find a job where I'm consistently working and I can, you know, pay my bills. There have been some opportunities that I've been given for sure, but it's either the environment is extremely toxic and it doesn't work for me, or, you know, there's a lot of work but no actual money that's being made. And I understand that it's, you know, rough for everybody out here, but I feel as though if I'm going to work in fine dining, I don't care what the economy got going on. If you want me to sell a $300 steak, why is it an option for people to only tip me like $5-10? You know, if everything will fall back on me. I'm the only one that, you know, gets hurt in this arrangement. So it just completely baffles me how the service industry in Atlanta just completely and utterly sucks. And it's just all recycled to the point where if you've worked at one place, you've worked at all of them. So it's like, I've worked at so many places now because I've lived here like almost 5 years, that it's like, it's hard for me to find something that's going to make me the money that I need to make, not be overly stressful, have a good environment. And I feel like these aren't extremely high standards that I'm asking for, but apparently they are. And when I was working in New York, I never had these problems. The service in Miami when I visit Miami, is not like the service here in Atlanta. And I'm seeing like posts on my Instagram about these places hiring, but guess where they are? They're in New York, they're in Miami, they're in Dallas, like these restaurants. And I just feel so stuck here, stuck in this wash and tumble, rinse and repeat type of environment, when I could be in like a more thriving city, even though of course New York has its problems, a more thriving city. And I don't think, I'm like 96% positive, if I was in New York City, my home city, I'd have something by now. There's just too many spots to not have something, but it's not like that here in Atlanta. And, you know, I can't go too far out of the city because I'm not going to have a car soon. So it's like, you're really stuck. And I don't get why people keep moving here and are subjugating themselves to being stuck here. I'm so ready to go. I'm trying to put everything in motion so I can get out of here. I just can't do it anymore.